The crystal chandeliers of the Grand Astoria ballroom dripped light onto the sea of black tie attire and sequin dresses. I adjusted my own tie, a nervous energy thrumming just beneath my skin. Tonight was Sarah's night. My Sarah. For 10 years, I had watched her climb the corporate ladder at Sterling Price, starting as a bright-eyed junior analyst, and now, tonight, being crowned Vice President of Marketing and receiving the prestigious Innovator of the Year award. My chest swelled with a pride so potent it felt like it might crack my ribs. I caught her eye from our table near the stage. She gave me a small, incandescent smile, the kind that had made me fall in love with her in a dusty college library all those years ago. She looked ethereal in a deep emerald gown that shimmered with every breath she took. She was a star, and I was her biggest fan, her anchor, the one who made her tea during late-night work sessions and rubbed her feet when the stress became too much. Her boss, Julian Croft, a man with a politician's smile and shark's eyes, took the stage to present the award. He was the CEO, a titan of the industry, and he had taken a special interest in Sarah's career. I'd always been grateful, telling myself it was because he recognized her brilliance. He began his speech, his voice booming through the sound system, lavishing praise on Sarah. Dedication, unparalleled vision, a willingness to burn the midnight oil for the good of the company. Standard corporate fluff, but it still made me beam. As he spoke, he gestured with his hands, and something caught my eye, a glint of silver and dark wood. It was the pen. A handcrafted Mont Blanc fountain pen I had saved for 6 months to buy for Sarah for our 8th anniversary. It was her prized possession. She said it was her good luck charm for signing major deals. Why did Julian have it? My mind raced, trying to find a logical explanation. Maybe she lent it to him? For this big speech, it seemed unlikely. A cold, sharp pebble of doubt dropped into the warm ocean of my pride. I pushed it down. This was Sarah's night. I wouldn't let my overactive imagination ruin it. That night, the drive home was different. The usual celebratory buzz was replaced with a strange, taut silence. Sarah was staring out the window, the massive glass trophy sitting awkwardly between us on the leather seat. "You were amazing tonight, honey," I said, trying to break the tension. "I'm so proud of you." "Thanks, Alex," she murmured, not looking at me. It was a lot. "That pen Julian was using," I started, trying to sound casual. "It looked just like the one I got you. Did you lend it to him?" Her head snapped towards me. In the fleeting glow of the streetlights, I saw a flash of something in her eyes. Panic? No, that was too strong. It was more like irritation. "Oh my God, Alex, can we not do this tonight? He admired it, so I let him borrow it for his speech. It's called networking. You should try it sometime."
The barb stung. I was a high school history teacher. My world was lesson plans and parent-teacher conferences, not power lunches and networking galas. It was a world she was increasingly a part of, and one I was increasingly excluded from. The rest of the drive was silent. That pebble of doubt began to grow. The late-night brainstorming sessions became more frequent. She'd come home smelling of a perfume I didn't recognize and wine from restaurants I knew we couldn't afford. When I'd ask, the answers were always vague. It was a client dinner. Julian wanted to go over the quarterly reports. She started guarding her phone like it was a state secret, angling it away from me whenever a text buzzed. One evening, I tried to bring it up gently. "Sarah, we don't seem to talk anymore. You're always so busy, so distant." She sighed, the sound heavy with exasperation. "Alex, I'm about to become the youngest VP in the company's history. This is what it takes. I thought you supported my career. Are you getting insecure because I'm finally making more than you?" Her words were a masterclass in deflection, twisting my concern into a flaw in my own character. I was being insecure. I was being paranoid. I was the one with the problem. I started to believe it. I loved this woman with every fiber of my being. The alternative, that she was lying, that she was betraying me, was too monstrous to contemplate. It was my friend Mark who snapped me out of it. We were having a beer and I was unloading my anxieties. He listened patiently before setting his glass down with a firm thud. "Dude, I love you, but you're being an idiot. She's gaslighting you. Look, maybe it's nothing, but if it is something, you need to know for sure. Stop asking her questions she can lie about and start looking for answers she can't." His words, though harsh, were a splash of cold water. That night, I did something I never thought I would.
I opened her laptop, which she'd carelessly left open on the kitchen counter. My hands were shaking. I felt like a trespasser in my own home. Her email was open. I didn't have to dig. There was a folder labeled Project Nightingale. I clicked on it. It wasn't filled with marketing proposals. It was filled with emails between her and Julian. Emails detailing hotel reservations, dinner plans, and intimate conversations that made my stomach churn with acid. One email from Julian read, "Last night was incredible. You've brought a passion to my life I thought was long gone. Can't wait for the strategy meeting in Napa next month." Attached was a flight confirmation for 2. And there it was, the end of my world, laid out in 12-point font. The worst part wasn't the sex or the lies. It was the casual betrayal, the way they used their work, my wife's dream, as a cover for their sordid affair. The way they'd planned a romantic getaway while I was at home grading papers on the American Revolution. For a week, I was a ghost. I went to work, I ate, I slept, but I wasn't there. I was watching a movie of my life, and the main character had been hollowed out. Sarah didn't even notice. She was too wrapped up in her own world, her own lies. A cold, hard anger began to replace the soul-crushing grief. She had taken my love and my trust and shattered them. She didn't deserve a quiet, dignified exit. She deserved to be exposed for who she was. Then I found out about the upcoming annual company gala. It was the biggest event of the year, and this time Sarah was the guest of honor. She was being given a special Decade of Excellence award. The entire company, all the executives, even industry press would be there. And I knew with chilling certainty that this was where it had to end. Not with a scream, but with the quiet, undeniable weight of the truth. I arrived at the gala alone, telling Sarah I'd meet her there as I had some papers to grade. She kissed me goodbye, a quick, perfunctory peck on the cheek, oblivious to the storm raging behind my calm facade. I took my seat at the designated table, a plastic smile plastered on my face, and waited. The night was a repeat of the last one, only grander. More lights, more champagne, more empty praise. Finally, Julian took the stage to present Sarah's award. He was even more effusive than before, his voice dripping with a proprietary pride that made me want to be sick. To honor Sarah's incredible journey with us, Julian announced, we've put together a short video with messages from her colleagues and mentors. The lights dimmed, and the massive screens on either side of the stage flickered to life. One by one, colleagues appeared, offering generic congratulations. It was painfully boring. I watched Sarah at the head table, basking in the glow, a portrait of success. Then Julian appeared on the screen for the final message. He was in a hotel room. I recognized the decor from the reservation confirmations in the emails. He was leaning back in a chair, looking casual, almost intimate. "Sarah," he began, his voice a low purr. "What can I say? You've brought so much passion to this company. Our late-night brainstorming sessions, well, they've been incredibly productive. You deserve this more than anyone." He winked. A wave of murmurs rippled through the audience. It was unprofessional, borderline inappropriate. But then came the twist, a detail so small and so devastating it would change everything. As Julian spoke, the camera angle shifted slightly. Behind him was a large, ornate wall mirror, and for a fleeting, horrifying second, a reflection was visible in it. It was Sarah. She was wearing nothing but the delicate silver necklace I had given her for our last anniversary. She was walking towards the bed. An audible, collective gasp sucked the air out of the ballroom. The tech crew, realizing the catastrophic error that Julian had likely sent the wrong video file, a personal message intended only for her, scrambled to cut the feed. The screens went black, but it was too late. 2,000 people had just become silent witnesses to my wife's affair. The silence that followed was deafening. Every eye in the room darted from the blank screens to a mortified Julian on stage, and then to Sarah, who was frozen at her table, her face ashen, a mask of pure, unadulterated horror. Her perfect night, her crowning achievement, had just become her public execution. In that moment, all the anger drained out of me, replaced by a profound, empty sadness. I didn't shout. I didn't cause a scene. My actions had to be as quiet and devastating as her betrayal. I slowly stood up. I took off my wedding ring, the simple gold band I hadn't removed in 10 years, and placed it gently in the center of the pristine white tablecloth. It gleamed under the chandeliers, a tiny monument to a dead marriage. Then I turned and walked out of the ballroom. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. The sound of 2,000 people whispering was all the confirmation I needed. Months have passed. I heard Sarah was fired, and Julian resigned amidst the scandal. She left dozens of voicemails, a frantic torrent of tears, apologies, and excuses. I never listened to them. I deleted them one by one. I moved out of our house, our life, and into a small apartment downtown. I focused on my students, on the simple, honest truths of history. I found a quiet rhythm to my new life. Last week, a letter arrived. It was from her. My first instinct was to burn it, but instead I opened it. It wasn't what I expected. There were no excuses. It was just a raw, painful accounting of her own loneliness, her insecurities, and the terrible choices she made chasing a hollow version of success. She wrote that she didn't expect forgiveness, that she knew she didn't deserve it. She just wanted me to know she was sorry for destroying the best thing in her life. She hoped I would find happiness. I read the letter, and for the first time since that night, I cried. Not for the loss of her, but for the loss of us, for the man I used to be who believed so blindly in love. I folded the letter and put it in a box. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was closure. This morning, I watched the sunrise from my new window, the city waking up below. The scar on my heart remains, a permanent reminder of the betrayal. But for the first time, it didn't ache. It was just there, a part of my history, and I knew with a quiet certainty that I was finally ready to turn the page.